Hey everybody, it's Joshua Smith, the JBS 1993, coming to you again. Today what I want to discuss is about police brutality. I am very angered and highly pissed off about what happened with George Floyd. As we know, that was a very disgraceful and despicable thing that has happened, and I'm highly angered and infuriated about what took place. This racism and prejudice against the black community has definitely got to stop, and something must be done to address it. Now, I'm on the fence when it comes to this subject because I know there are things in my community, in the black community, that need to be addressed, and I know there are things in the police community that also need to be addressed. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm on the side of the police officers, nor am I going to say that I'm on the side of my people. But what I will say is that both need to be corrected. And I'm going to do a rebuke, and I'm going to talk about both. I'm going to say things about my people, and I'm also going to say things about the police officers. Well, first getting on my people. There are many things that we're labeled as in the black community. They label us as deadbeat fathers, drug dealers, murderers, rapists, you name it. Does that mean that all black people do it? No. But the thing that needs to be addressed is that there are black people that do the things that they're labeled as. They do the things that whites or that the media portrays us to be. So how are you going to solve the problem when you're doing drugs, you're sagging your pants, you're sleeping with multiple women and not taking care of your children, and you're repeating the cycle over and over again, and you're feeding into the racist BS that is labeled on us? You can't solve a problem when you're doing the problem. And there are a few people that are doing the problem, which makes us look bad. So there's a way that we have to change the way we act and the way that we behave if we don't want to be labeled in a category. If we don't want to be labeled as filthy niggas or trash or thugs, then stop doing the things that you're doing, because it makes no sense. You don't want to be labeled into a category, but yet you do the thing of the category. Now, does that justify you being shot and justify you being killed? No. No, it doesn't. But when you're feeding fuel to the fire and you're provoking something to happen to you based on your lifestyle, then yeah, it's going to happen. Don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff. Don't put yourself into a category or in a situation like that. Okay? And I'll repeat it again. If you don't want to be labeled as a thug, if you don't want to be racially discriminated against in that category as a black person, or, to be labeled as a nigga, you have to change the way that you act. And I don't like using the N-word, but I'm only saying it in this sense only because of the topic that I'm discussing. If you don't want to be labeled into that category, you have to stop doing the things that you're doing. Please, stop shooting each other. Stop with the drugs, the gangbanging, the murdering, and all of that. And also another thing, stop being hypocritical. You want to make all this fuss and noise about when a police officer kills someone, but you don't want to say anything when another brother kills another brother. What sense does that make? You want to huff and puff about when an officer, or when a white man or someone of a different race kills one of our people. You want to make a big fuss about it, but you say nothing when our own people kill each other. Now, to me, that seems very hypocritical. Very hypocritical. So you're saying it's okay for us to kill each other, but if a white man or if a police officer kills us, it's very hypocritical, and it makes no sense. Now, what are we going to do to address that? Simply just stop doing it. And I'm not just saying this, talking for myself. I grew up in the projects. I know what it's like to be around the hood and be in the ghetto. I grew up in Section 8 area as a little boy. So I get it. I've lived it. I haven't done it, but I've had people around me that have done that. But you got to learn right from wrong. And also it starts with the parents. Moms and dads. Whenever I got out of line, my parents checked me. I had uncles, cousins, my father, my mother, people that poured into me and showed me how to be a black man. And you parents of today, you have to put your foot down and discipline. Because if you do not discipline, your children are going to come out very bad. And they're going to end up doing the wrong thing. And it's even tougher if you're a person of color. And I'm not just saying that because I'm black. It's the truth. If you're Caucasian, it's easier for you to live in America. If you're a person of color, you have to fight twice as hard to go to school, for work, for anything and everything you do. You have to fight twice as hard because the odds are against you. So I just want to make that appeal to my brothers out there. Please stop what you're doing and knock it off, because you're feeding into the nonsense that we're labeled as. But now that I've already talked about my people, now I want to get on the police officers. Police officers, you have to understand that your duty is to protect and enforce the law. You are not supposed to be harassing people and making people fear you. People should feel comfortable to come to a police officer, regardless of what color they are. If they're black, white, Spanish, Latino, or Asian, they should be able to feel comfortable coming to you, officer, sir, or ma'am. They should feel comfortable to come to you about an issue or a problem. They shouldn't have to worry about, oh no, are they going to shoot me? Oh no, am I going to get arrested? Now, I understand that there are some situations and some circumstances where you may have to be aggressive. But not everything requires you to pull a gun out on somebody, or to beat the crap out of them, or to choke them to the point where they can't breathe. That is totally not called for. Someone that runs a red light, you don't need to pull your gun out on them. Just write them a ticket and go on about your day. Now, if you see someone robbing someone, then that's a different scenario. That's a different case. Then that's different. But you need to understand that you guys are here to protect us. Our taxes are going towards you guys protecting us from idiots, or from, bad people that are causing trouble in the world, or in the town, in the city, whatever. That's your job. We shouldn't be scared of you. We should respect you, yes, but we should not be scared of you. And another thing that I think needs to happen, and I think every police station should do this, is include different races in the police department, in the policing field. Yes, we need to have more people of color, have more black officers, more Asian officers. I believe that thing with George Floyd, it would not have happened if we had had a black officer or more officers of color. It always seems that there are officers that are Caucasian that are doing the most brutality. And that's not just by me saying that. That's just, from me observing and watching. And another thing, we need to have officers that grew up in communities of the Section 8 or the projects or of the ghetto, or they have been around people of color, and they understand how to deal with people and how people are. And they won't just react based on their racial stereotypical mindset. That's something that needs to happen. And we also need to have people that have been all over, mainly if you can be a cop anywhere, but I would think that it's best for you to be a police officer where you grew up at. If you grew up in the projects, it's probably best for you to be an officer in the projects. If you grew up in the country, it's probably better for you to be an officer in the country, you know? Because you're going to be more effective and you're going to have a better understanding of that area if you've lived it and been around it. So that's another thing that needs to be addressed. Officers have to watch how they come at people, and we also have to have officers that have been in certain areas and they know how those people are and they know how to deal with them without going over the top or, you know, undermining it. So there are things that need to be addressed. And the biggest thing of all is I'm not a cop, but I am going towards criminal justice. I'm currently a security officer at the job that I'm at. But the biggest thing of all is how you come at people. A lot of problems can be resolved if we just learn how to speak to people like human beings. Even if you see somebody doing something wrong, there's still a way that you can approach them based on the circumstances. But most of the time, a lot of the stuff that these officers are shooting and beating the crap out of people for are well over the top for petty little things. So you mean to tell me because somebody's speeding that you're going to shoot them and beat the crap out of them? No. That's not called for. Now, if you see someone robbing the bank, then yes, then that's understandable. There are different circumstances to how you react according to a certain situation. But a lot of the situations and a lot of the things that police officers harm people and harass people for are totally uncalled for. Alright? But even regardless, 9 times out of 10, if you come at people with respect and properly, they're going to come at you properly. So we need to watch that. If you see somebody doing something wrong, or if you have an inkling in your gut that something might be funny about that person, come at them with respect. Look at it from their perspective. How would you feel if a cop was rolling and staring at you and, questioning you, and you were innocent and you did nothing wrong? Think about it from their perspective. And cut them a break. Give warnings, give tickets. But you don't have to shoot and beat up. And at the most, tase them if you have to, but come on. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Do unto others. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Just because you're a cop, it does not give you the right to disrespect someone of color because you think that he or she may be a problem. Now, I already got on my people, but I'm going to get on you guys too. I'm addressing both. It's not just one person the problem, it's both. Now I'm getting on you cops now. Come on, cops. Police officers. Male officers, female officers. I don't care what color you are. If you're Caucasian, especially the Caucasian prejudiced ones. Especially you guys. You guys gotta stop doing that. Come at people in the right way, more likely they're gonna come at you respectfully. The reason why cops are not respected is because of the things that they do. The reason why our community is not respected because of the things that we do. There's a balance. Cops need to do what they need to do and get themselves right, as do my people. It's a two-way street. So that's the base of what I have to say. My people, stop doing what you're labeled as. Police officers, be fair and be nice. And be kind to everyone. And also for the police officers in the future, have more people of color, black officers, Asian, Latino. Police in the areas where you grew up in. That way, because you're more familiar with it and you know how to deal with people and you know how people are and you know how it flows. How it flows in the city is not the same way it flows in the country, So just change the way it is. Okay? That's my message. Now, I don't mean to offend my people, and I'm not trying to offend the police officers either. I respect both of you. But both of you have to get it right. Black lives matter? Yes. Absolutely, most certainly. And as for the blue lives, they matter also. But you also need to show respect. So I'm saying things for on both sides. This is basically how I feel about police brutality. Some people may agree with me, some may don't. But hey, it is what it is. But please don't take offense to what I'm saying. Just take it in your heart and in your mind what I'm saying, because I'm just only giving my opinion on how I feel. How I feel as a person of color, and how I feel also as a criminal justice major also. And how I feel and what I think things need to be done and how they need to be addressed for the better. Okay? So thank you, Facebook, YouTube. Bless you. Love you all. Let's make the world a better place. Have a blessed day. All right, thank you.